For nearly 25 years, Evelyn Carter had quietly kept the sprawling transportation empire of Northbridge Logistics Group running while executives accepted awards and shareholders celebrated rising profits without ever knowing her name. From a modest office tucked behind the operations center, she coordinated fragile supply chains, solved impossible scheduling conflicts, and built trusted relationships with shipping companies, warehouse operators, customs officials, and freight carriers across the country, becoming the one person everyone called whenever millions of dollars of cargo were in danger of grinding to a halt. Unlike the polished executives who loved presentations and motivational speeches, Evelyn believed that success came from experience, patience, and the willingness to answer a phone at 3 o'clock in the morning when a shipment was stranded hundreds of miles away during a snowstorm. She remembered every contract, every emergency contact, every hidden clause, and every promise made over decades of honest business, earning respect from veteran drivers and longtime partners who trusted her judgment far more than any software dashboard or colorful performance report. Everything changed when the company's founder stepped aside and handed daily control to his ambitious nephew, Nathan Brooks, a young executive who had built his confidence in classrooms instead of loading docks and believed technology alone could replace decades of practical knowledge. Nathan arrived with expensive consultants, flashy management slogans, and a determination to modernize every department as quickly as possible, dismissing experienced employees as outdated obstacles while rewarding people who agreed with him instead of those who actually understood how the business operated. Within weeks, the atmosphere inside Northbridge transformed as familiar faces disappeared, long-established procedures were abandoned, and experienced managers found themselves reporting to newly hired supervisors who spoke confidently about efficiency despite having almost no real operational experience. Evelyn stayed focused on her responsibilities, quietly preventing expensive mistakes behind the scenes while listening to unrealistic promises about artificial intelligence, automated negotiations, and digital workflows that ignored the complicated human relationships keeping thousands of daily deliveries moving safely. The tension reached a new level one rainy afternoon while Evelyn was finalizing an extremely sensitive transportation agreement that would secure critical medical supply deliveries across several states for years to come, when Nathan casually interrupted her work to criticize the appearance of her overflowing desk instead of asking about the multimillion-dollar negotiation already in progress. Remaining calm despite her frustration, Evelyn politely explained that every document spread across her workspace represented active agreements protecting the company's operations. But Nathan simply smiled, insisted that everything important belongs in the cloud, and walked away convinced he understood a business that had depended on her quiet expertise long before he ever entered the boardroom. Autumn soon arrived, bringing the busy season the company faced all year as warehouses overflowed with holiday merchandise, medical equipment, food shipments, and industrial supplies that had to reach customers without delay. Evelyn worked long hours reviewing contracts, monitoring carrier schedules, and solving emergencies before anyone else even realized they existed, while Nathan spent more time hosting leadership meetings and motivational events than learning how the operation truly functioned. Late one Thursday afternoon, an invitation appeared in every manager's inbox announcing a mandatory executive appreciation gala at an exclusive country resort scheduled for the exact weekend when several high-value international shipments were expected to arrive. Evelyn respectfully replied that she would be supervising the customs clearance of temperature-sensitive medical equipment, whose delay could endanger hospitals and violate contractual obligations, wishing everyone an enjoyable evening while explaining that her professional responsibilities had to come first. The following morning, the atmosphere inside headquarters felt unusually tense as conversations stopped whenever Evelyn walked through the operations floor, and confused employees quietly avoided eye contact while pretending to focus on their computer screens. Moments after she reached her desk, her computer refused to accept her credentials, and before she could contact technical support, Nathan entered with the human resources director and two security officers, whose uncomfortable expressions revealed that they wanted no part in what was about to happen. Nathan calmly announced that the company was restructuring its leadership culture and claimed Evelyn no longer represented the collaborative vision the organization wanted to promote, insisting that adaptability and enthusiasm mattered more than long years of experience. Evelyn listened without raising her voice, reminded him that she personally managed hundreds of active agreements and served as the trusted contact for numerous transportation partners. But Nathan dismissed her concerns with complete confidence, declaring that every employee could easily be replaced. Without creating the dramatic confrontation Nathan clearly expected, Evelyn quietly gathered a framed photograph of her late father, placed a few personal notebooks into her bag, surrendered her identification badge, and wished everyone in the room the very best before walking toward the elevator with remarkable composure. As the building disappeared behind her, and she settled into her aging SUV beneath a gray afternoon sky, she realized she had not lost the foundation of her career at all, because the relationships, trust, and institutional knowledge that kept the company operating had never belonged to the office, they had always belonged to her. Instead of driving home, Evelyn stopped at a quiet neighborhood cafe where she often met independent freight operators after difficult negotiations, ordered a cup of strong black coffee, opened her personal laptop, and carefully reviewed the agreements she had legally retained for her own records over the years. She drafted a respectful notification explaining that she was no longer employed by Northbridge Logistics Group and could no longer serve as the authorized relationship manager for existing partnerships, encouraging every organization to follow the continuity provisions written into their own contracts before approving any future shipments or financial commitments. The responses began arriving almost immediately as longtime partners expressed surprise at her departure and requested clarification about who would now oversee critical transportation decisions that had previously required her approval and coordination. Since many contracts required vendors to verify a qualified replacement before extending credit or releasing high-value cargo, warehouses temporarily paused outbound shipments, carriers delayed departures until documentation could be confirmed, and customs brokers requested additional verification, creating a chain reaction that slowed the company's nationwide operations without anyone violating a single contractual obligation. Back at headquarters, Nathan and his executive team found themselves overwhelmed by unanswered questions they had never anticipated. As dozens of trusted partners politely refused to proceed without receiving the documentation and assurances required under their own agreements, every attempt to accelerate the process only exposed how deeply the organization had depended on one experienced professional whose knowledge had never been properly documented, forcing executives to confront the enormous difference between impressive presentations and genuine operational expertise built through decades of trust. Several members of the company's board quickly launched an internal review after clients began complaining about delayed deliveries and growing financial losses, eventually discovering that years of institutional knowledge had been concentrated in one employee while leadership ignored repeated recommendations to develop proper succession plans and knowledge-sharing systems. Nathan's aggressive management style, combined with his decision to dismiss experienced personnel without understanding their responsibilities, became the central focus of the investigation, leading to sweeping leadership changes and a renewed commitment to valuing expertise alongside innovation. Months later, Evelyn accepted a senior advisory position with another transportation company that respected her experience and encouraged younger professionals to learn directly from her instead of replacing wisdom with empty confidence. While Northbridge slowly rebuilt the partnerships it had damaged through poor leadership and short-sighted decisions, the experience became a powerful reminder that successful organizations are built not only on technology and ambitious strategies but also on trust, integrity, and the people whose quiet dedication keeps everything moving behind the scenes. And if you enjoyed this story, please subscribe to our channel and share this video with your friends and family. We create entertaining and inspiring stories for our viewers, and your support helps us continue making great content for you.